Good morning, 5th grade, rooms 10 and 11. Here we go. Hey, we're starting off. We're going to be on page 704 in lesson 95. We got kind of a doozy of a lesson for you guys today. So go ahead, grab out those books, get opened up to page 704. I'm going to kind of just teach it versus going a lot out of the book. I feel like the way the book explains it almost makes it a little bit more difficult. So today we're going to be learning about this stuff called algebraic addition. Now, algebraic addition is where we're going to be changing the signs inside the problem to do the opposite of the number. So let me just show you one. Here is an example. So let's say I have 4 minus a positive 6. Are you guys with me so far? Now, algebraic addition is taking that minus sign and making it a plus sign. So the 4 stays the same, but now we're adding, but since now I've changed this to a plus sign, I have to do the opposite of a positive 6. So what is the opposite of a positive 6? Someone say it. It's going to be a negative 6. So now we just added. What's 4 plus a negative 6? It's negative, right? Because our negative number is bigger. So that's right. It's going to be a negative what? Ava, what do you think? Yell it out for me. It's going to be a negative 2. It's that easy. So all we're doing is making it an addition sign and then making this the opposite of whatever it was. So since it was a plus sign, we had to make it a negative. All right, let's try another one. Let's look at example number 1. So it's pretty similar. Now, we got negative 4 minus a positive 6. Okay, so with that negative 4 out there in the front, we're not going to mess with that guy. It stays a negative 4. So we just bring it right down. So there's our negative 4. Now we're going to change the minus sign to a plus sign. And then remember, how's that change our 6? What does it make the 6 do? There you go. It makes it a negative. Now, we got a negative 4 plus a negative 6. They're both negative. So I know my answer is going to be negative. And then it's just 4 plus 6. What's 4 plus 6? So we got negative 10. Okay, I know you're like, why do we even have to change it, Mr. Poole? I know, it's tough. It messes with my brain sometimes. But I think you guys will be okay. Let's go ahead and look at example number 2 on the top of page 705. I'm going to erase this while you guys are grabbing that. Man, I hope you guys had a good Easter yesterday. Got to have lots of treats and tasty food. It's kind of a bummer not being able to hang out with like all the family and stuff. But, you know, we made do. All right, so we got, for example 2, we got negative 3 minus 2. Now this 2 right here, is it a negative 2? No, because if it was a negative 2, it would have said negative 2. So we know that within we could put little parentheses around that 2 and put a plus sign because we know it's a positive 2. Now, when we come down, the negative 3 stays the same. It does not change. Now, as we slide down here, that becomes a plus sign, right? And then remember, we got to do the opposite of whatever this number was following the minus sign, the subtraction sign. So, since we had a positive 2, the opposite would be a negative 2. So now we just got negative 3 plus negative 2, right? So 3 plus 2 is 5. Both of them were negative, so that means my answer is going to be negative 5. Okay. Hopefully it's trying to sink in a little bit. You know, hit rewind a few seconds if you need to. Like watch it one more time, because trust me, it's going to get harder. But let's go ahead and do example number 3. Example number 3 says we got 7 minus a negative 1. Okay, so check this out. This one's kind of cool. So the 7 just stays the same. We drop down, there's a 7. Now, what have we been doing to every one of those subtraction signs? What have we been doing every single time? That's right, we've been making an addition sign. So, now that we made an addition sign, we need to do the opposite of what the number was behind it. So it was a -1, so now it's going to become a what? You guessed it, +1. So we just got 7 plus 1. Wow, that's hard. 8. Awesome. I think we can squeeze example 4 in here. Example 4 gets crazy. I mean, crazy. All right, so check out example number 4. Try not to cry. At least if you're crying, you're at home, so none of your classmates will see you, unless you got a little Zoom going on the side. Then they might see you and they're like, James, why are you crying? Or whatever, I don't know, Bobby James. Here we go. Example number 4. -5 minus a -4 minus a +1. Okay, does that front number change? Give me a thumbs up if you think that front number changes. Give me a thumbs up if you think that number is going to stay the same. Yeah, it stays the same, because remember it's out here in the front. That's just a good old -5. He stays negative. He needs to have a better outlook on life. He needs to become more positive, you know what I'm saying? All right, so as this minus sign comes down here, it becomes a plus sign, right? We're changing it to algebraic addition. It's not called algebraic subtraction. It's algebraic addition. So we're making it to an addition problem. Now we got to do the opposite of what the next number was. It was -4. So that makes it a +4. Now, once again, algebraic addition, we got to make that minus sign a plus sign. Now, we had a +1 here, but now since we changed it to a plus, we need to do the opposite of what was in this parentheses. So the opposite of +1 would be -1. Now all you got to do is add. So we got -5 plus 4, right? It's going to be -1, right? And then we got -1 plus -1. Pretty easy, I think. I think it's just the whole process of changing these to plus signs is where things get tricky for us. That's where it's like, wait, what do I have to do? So once we change that to plus, remember, we always got to switch to the opposite symbol right there. All right. I am going to go ahead and erase this and put up our next. Here we go with some lesson practice, friends. So, starting off with A, we have -2 minus a +5. So they want us to convert it to algebraic addition and then find the answer. So we're going to bring the first number down, right? Because that -2 stays -2. Now, as we come down, our minus sign is going to become an addition sign. And then remember, that changes the number behind it to whatever that number's opposite was. So the opposite of a +5 would be a -5. Nice. So, -2 plus -5, John, how much is that going to be, son? Tell me. -2 plus -5, boom, -7. Awesome. All right, so let's look to the next one, B. We have that -7. Remember, that first number is just going to come straight down. -7. Cool. Now we're turning it to algebraic addition. So we got to make that a plus sign as we bring it down. Then it's going to be the opposite. Remember, instead of +1, it's -1. So, Nicholas, help me out. -7 plus -1 is going to be negative what? Come on, say it out loud so your brother can hear you. All right, 7 plus 1 is 8. They're both negative, -8. There you go, easy peasy. All right, next one. Let's see, so is that -1 going to change? Let's look at the past two we've done. Nope, it's not going to change, it's going to come straight down. -1 stays the same. Now, that minus sign is going to change, right? Because we got to change it to an addition sign. Now, this is the first time we've had a negative number here. So what is the opposite of negative 3? Go ahead and yell it out. Let's see. Who could help me with this one? Lucas. Lucas, go ahead and yell out. What's the opposite of negative 3? Okay, there you go. I heard you. 3. Now we got negative 3 or negative 1 plus 3. If you think about a number line, if we were at 3 and we went back 1, where are we going to be at? Lucas? There you go. 2. Hopefully these are getting easier as we go, because I feel like they get a little bit easier. The more you do it, the more fluid and easy it becomes. All right, let's check out D right here. So that 2 is pretty easy. That 2 is just going to drop right down. And then as we slide down, we got to change that minus sign to a plus sign, right? And then obviously, so B and B in my class, help me out on this one. So that plus 4 is going to become a what? Go ahead and say it out for me. There you go. Say it nice and loud so mom and dad can hear you. So Abby can hear you too. She's like, Ben, why are you yelling at the TV screen or computer screen? All right, now, which one of those numbers is bigger, the negative or the positive? Yeah, so that negative, it's going to be a negative answer. Now, if I have 2 plus a negative 4, that's obviously going to leave me with 2 left over. So we got negative 2. Nice work, Ben. All right, now we're going to go to Ben in room 10. Ben, help me out on this one. Now, that 3 comes straight down, right? So there's that 3. And then remember, it's addition, so we got to change it to addition. Now, Ben, I need the opposite of negative 2. What would that equal? Go ahead and say it out nice and loud so mom hears you. There you go. Positive 2. Man, you got the easiest one so far. 3 plus 2. I could do that on one hand. 3 plus 2 is 5. Good job, Ben. All right, let's jump up here. Let's check out F. We got negative 6 minus a positive 6. So remember that negative 6 just comes right down. We're going to come down here with our plus sign, or our minus sign is going to become a plus sign, addition sign. And then remember, that's going to change our positive 6 to the opposite number. Trying to think who I haven't called on yet. Peyton, help me out with this one. So instead of a plus 6, let's go with the opposite of a positive 6. Would be a negative. There you go. I heard you say it. Negative 6. All right. Now we got 2 negative numbers, so I know my answer is going to be a negative number no matter what. So 6 plus 6 is how much, Peyton? 12. So our answer is negative 12. All right. We're looking good. Looking good. Let's keep rolling. Now, first number, drop straight down. I think we'll get to an example here in a second where that first number is going to change, but not yet. All right, so that first number just comes right down to 4. Now, remember that minus sign has got to change. Johnny in my class, Johnny, help me out. So that minus sign is going to become a what? It's going to become a plus sign. So once I change it to a plus sign, how does that change that positive 7, Johnny? That's right, it makes it a negative 7. Now, when we look at these two numbers, negative 7 is obviously bigger than 4, so it's going to be a negative answer. But when we go 4 plus a negative 7, that gives us a negative what, Johnny? Yell it out. Louder. Louder. All right, cool. Sweet. Mom's probably freaking out like, why Johnny yelling? Is he hurt? Nope, just yelling out an answer. Good work. All right, negative 3. Awesome. Let's look at H. So with H, 10 drops down. Minus sign becomes a plus sign, and then remember that's going to change that number, that negative 9, to the opposite. So it's going to become a positive 9. Now when we have 10 plus 9, that's pretty easy, right? Yeah, that's going to be 19. Alright, so let's check out K real quick here. So remember that first number is just going to drop straight down, right? There's negative 6. We've already got the plus sign, so we're good. We don't have to change anything there. But now we have minus a 7. So as we come down, that's going to become a plus sign. Now what's the opposite of 7? Negative 7. All right, so we'll throw some parentheses around that guy. So negative 6 plus 3, right? So if we're on a number line, we're at negative 6, and we move up 3. So now we're at negative 3, right? So this gets us to negative 3. So then we have negative 3 plus a negative 7. They're both negative, so my answer is going to stay negative. Now, notice 3 plus 7. 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So, our answer is negative 10. Now, this dude, this dude's where we get a little crazy, right? Now, you got to remember PEMDAS, right? PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We got to do these parentheses first. So let's put the 4 and this minus sign over here by themselves. Now, I've got negative 5 minus a positive 6. So that negative 5 is going to stay a negative 5. But what are we going to do with that minus sign? Someone yell it out. We got to make it a plus sign. Now, what is the opposite of positive 6? So, because right now that's a positive 6, right? There you go. It makes it a negative 6. Cool, we got two negative numbers. What's easier than that? So we got negative 5 plus negative 6. They're both negative. 5 plus 6 is just 11, right? Sweet. So now we have 4 minus 11. Remember, it's algebraic addition, y'all. We got to make it plus signs. So the 4 comes down, stays a 4. That minus sign comes down, becomes a plus sign, and then check out that negative 11. We got to change it, don't we? We got to go with the opposite. So what's the opposite of negative 11? 11. That's it. And then 4 plus 11. Super easy, right, guys? 15. Cool. All right. Get out your math sheets so that we can go over some of these questions for the homework tonight. All right. So you guys should have your math worksheets ready to go for tonight's homework. I just want to give you a couple tips of 3 and 4. Check it out. We got base times height of that parallelogram. It's going to give us that area. And then number 4, you're finding the area of that triangle. So we're going to go base times height, but then we got to divide that number by 2. Cool. Go ahead, put that in your minds, write that down on your paper, hit pause, whatever you need to do. And then, sweet, we're going to jump all the way to 13, because 13 is what we learned today. Now, remember, what are we going to do with that first number? Boom. That's right. Both of these first numbers just come straight down. Negative 4 and negative 5. Now, how do we have to change those minus signs? Everybody should know. We did a whole lesson on it. That's right. They're going to become plus signs, both of them. They both become plus signs. And remember, when we make them plus signs, that flips the opposite number that is behind it. So instead of a positive 3, it becomes a negative, there you go, 3. And then this negative 2 is going to become what? What's the opposite of negative 2? Boom, positive 2. So we've got negative 4 plus negative 3. They're both negatives. What's 4 plus 3? 7. Sweet. And then negative 5 is bigger than positive 2. So I know my answer is still going to be negative. So if we think of that number line, negative 5, we jump back a couple spots. It's going to be a negative 3. All right, check out 15. It was kind of a big division problem I thought I wanted to work out with you guys. Now, we could use a trick where we try to divide the first number into the first digit of both. So 2 into 4 would go 2 times. But I already know 2 times 25 is 50, so that's not going to work. So let's jump with the 1. Let's jump off. Here we go. So that gives us 25, right? We subtract, we got to borrow. That becomes a 3, that becomes a 13. So now we have 180, because that drops down there like so, right? We got to pull that 0 down. Sorry, I'm trying to save room for number 16 here. Here, we'll just do this. We'll rewrite number 16. Write this a little bigger. All right. So we end up with 1, 8, and then our 0 comes down. There it is. Now, we could go 2 goes into 18 9 times, but I already know if I go 9, it's going to be way too big. So let's try, let's see, 8 times 25 would be 200. So let's try 7. Let's try 7 and see if 7 works. So 7 times 5 is 35, right? So we carry that 3. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3, 15, 16, 17. Ooh, I like what I'm seeing here. Now, we borrow from that 8, it becomes a 7, that becomes a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. We are not done yet. We got to pull that 0 all the way down there. and then 7 minus 7 is 0. Now, 25 goes into 50, that's an easy one. Boom, 2 times, 172. Cool. All right, we'll just skip 16. It wasn't that hard anyways. You guys got that. Check out number 26, guys. This is one of those problems where it's the graphing, and you're like, what? I don't know what to do. And you know, you get kind of freaked out, and your eyes get real big, you kind of get teary. Now, just remember, your first number, your x, that is your side-to-side number because this is the x-axis. Up here we got the y-axis. So our side-to-side, we're just kind of like figuring out the map. So if we start here at 0, how far did we have to go over before we went up to where that point is for A? So let's count it. We went up 1, 2, 3, 4. So your first coordinate is 4. Now, how many did we have to go up to get to where the spot is on A? We went up 1, 2, 3, 4. So our coordinates for A were over 4, up 4. All right, I'm gonna help you with B, and then you gotta figure out C on your own. So for B, how many spaces over did we go? What was my side-to-side number? 1, 2. Now, how high did we have to go? What is my vertical? The Y is our up and down. So how high did we have to go to get to that B? We only had to go up 1. That's easy, right? Cool. You guys copy that down, figure out what C is, look at how we got to C and how we got up to C. I think you guys should get it. All right, 28. This is a crazy one. None of our examples were like this whatsoever, so that's why I wanted to do this one with you guys. So, check it out. We have minus a negative 4 to start. So we're going to make that minus sign a plus sign. So that's going to change the negative 4 to what number? It's got to be the opposite, right? So it's going to be a positive 4. Now, we got another minus sign we got to change to a plus sign. But we had a positive 7, so now it's a negative 7. Now we got to bring this guy down and make it a plus sign. And we had a positive 5, so now it's going to be a negative 5. Oh my goodness, there's so much negativity. And then this guy's cool. This guy's totally cool. He's already got the plus sign. We just bring him straight down. That's 6. It is cool as a cucumber. All right, now we just got to work this thing across. We got 4 plus a negative 7 is going to be a negative, I heard someone say it, negative 3. And then negative 3 plus a negative 5 is going to continue to be negative, and it's just getting more and more negative. So that's going to be a negative 8, right? And then what's negative 8 plus 6? Negative 8 is obviously bigger than 6, so I know my answer is going to be negative. And then what is just 8, the difference between 8 and 6? There you go, I heard you say it. Negative 2. If you need to see how I broke that down, go ahead, hit rewind, watch that problem again. Because that one is probably the trickiest problem in all of your homework. Hey, I hope you guys are doing well, and I will check you out for a little bit of science for room 10. Room 11, sorry, you guys won't see me until tomorrow for Bible. All right, later on.